Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're with FluxMotorsport TV. I'm your broadcaster for this evening. I'm Lecky_2000, and you join us again this evening on Thursday evening for our GT1 Championship. As you can see here, we're at Daytona International Speedway in Florida for our second event. So this is round 2 in our GT1 Championship. Coming to you off the back of a previous event at Japan. A little bit of action there at Japan, some changes in the standings with our drivers, a couple of retirements and some new additions to our GT1 Championship here. So we'll give you a little rundown of those in just a moment. We're just out here on track at the moment with Bruce Law. He's currently Bruce is sat in second place, doing 1 minute 37s. This comes to you, I must admit, on a bonfire night, so this is a special event for us here in the UK. I am aware that Americans don't celebrate it, as both drivers go a little bit off there in qualifying. But yeah, this bonfire night for us in the UK, where we celebrate where some guy several hundred years ago tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament and our government. We can't quite remember whether that we're celebrating the fact that he didn't blow it up, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Nobody can quite remember. But either way, we celebrate it with lots of fireworks. So I do apologise if the stream's interrupted this evening with a few pops and whistles from the fireworks outside. So, but getting back to today's action. Like I said, just in qualifying here, just trying to take a look on board with Linga Bazinga. Linga Bazinga, who is currently our championship leader, currently on 37 points in our championship. That's one change that didn't occur after the results were amended after race 1, after our series inquiries. And Linga Bazinga sits firmly at the top, currently in third, like I said, 137s. Potentially going to have a little bit of a struggle here compared to the Toyota. Toyota having much greater top end speed and will benefit from the oval section of this track massively. So the CLK's already punching above the weight a little bit in this track. Will possibly make up over the season with some of the shorter tracks that we've got. And Sugo was obviously one of the shorter tracks last week, which would have played into the hands of our CLK drivers. Few CLK drivers on our grid, Linga Bazinga being one. But currently, our fastest lapper is Jack de Menzies, who I believe is just coming around turn 1. Jack currently putting 1:36.9s, which is not a million miles away from what I believe Jack's capable of in a dry setup here. However, that's one thing to note, just as we've got 10 minutes left in our qualifying session. The weather could change here, so qualifying is currently dry. However, we are expecting a little bit of wet weather here for the race, so uncommon for Florida, but not this time of year. So the guys will be expecting to put wet tyres on, and I think that is where we're going to see most of our action here today. Another one of our Toyota drivers at the grid, Murphy currently all the way down in 9th place after round 1, and repositioned into 8th place following an overturn from a steward's decision. So a little bit of action there from last week spilling over into this week and moving Murphy up a position. So the drivers that aren't with us anymore, just a quick recap. We have lost, unfortunately, CMC. CMC has retired from the championship, and T. Scott won't be with us this evening. T. Scott has got a personal matter to attend to, so he cannot attend this evening. So in his place, we have got Survivor, Best Gamer, who did a cameo drive for us last week. So welcome to Best Gamer. Great to see him out on grid again. And we've got another couple of new drivers, which is Stoltz and Old Smoky. Stoltz and Old Smoky, if I just try and give you a bit of a view, I think Old Smoky's still in the pits. Stoltz sporting the white and blue toad livery from the Panos. So another Panos driver here. As we can see, a couple of Panos who now seem to be doing hot laps. I believe that's Bruce Law behind him, the only other guy who's currently sporting the Panos, I think, at the moment. So Stoltz, can't tell you much about our driver Stoltz. Not much on the driver bio on this one. So as we progress through our championship, hopefully we'll get to learn a bit more about our newer drivers, and we can bring you some more information on those. So just coming back to today's action, 136.5 currently being set by Linga Bazinga. So the CLK looking like it's managed to get a little bit of traction here in the dry, as Stoltz just struggles a little bit there in turn 1. Difficult for the cars to get the traction down there in turn 1, and as we know, the Panos here not sporting any sort of driving assists in any way, shape or form. So no traction control, no ABS, and some of the other cars in the GT1 category are benefiting from this. So 6 minutes left in our session now, so just as we start to come to the end of our qualifying session for our event here at Daytona, just a little bit of news about who we are and what we do. So if you're already watching this on YouTube, then I'm sure you'll know all about our YouTube channel. But if this is your first time watching, please do hit the like and subscribe button if you like our videos and you want to get notified about the upcoming videos. Don't forget to hit the bell icon. If you want to check out more about our information and what services that we do provide, then please go over to FluxMotorsport.com, and that'll give you everything that you need to know. And at the top right hand corner of that website, there's even a driver sign up button. That'll take you through to our Discord server, and you can get involved in all our upcoming action, whether that be special events, championships, or whether it's just our day-to-day community races. All of it clean racing, all of it good fun. So just coming back to today, a little rundown our order. So in first we have Linga Bazinga in the black and multicoloured livery, rainbow livery as we've heard it called previously, CLK, currently sporting first place with a 136.5. Next is Jack in our 27 number Toyota, I believe. You can tell the 27 Toyota by the red banner at the top. Jack, I expect to do quite well in this one. Again, quite long legs on that Toyota. Bruce currently sitting in third place. Bruce is second in our championship, all told. And Bruce just coming out the pit lane there, potentially to get a quick lap in. So maybe just once round and a hot lap. DJ Ledger is a cameo driver with us this week. He comes in, sits firmly in fourth place. So DJ Ledger trying to affirm his position here as a potential regular driver, get himself out of the reserve category and into the regular drivers category. In fifth spot we've got Murphy, so currently 9th place on our leaderboards. Murphy will be happy with the 5th place on the grid, getting away from some of the back markers and turbulent action that we tend to find towards the back of the grid. Murphy will be happy with 6th spot. And then in 6th place with the black and orange CLK livery with the curling Dominion livery is Snarling Bongo. Snarling Bongo, another Dutch driver. Him and Linga Bazinga tend to race together and are good firm racing buddies. Snarling Bongo currently in 6th place. Snarling Bongo actually switched place with Murphy, so that was one correction from our standings last week. Murphy and Snarling Bongo switching from 8th and 9th after a steward's inquiry and a quash of a race director's penalty. In 7th we have Luke 42 or Luke Snipes. Luke 42 unfortunately did not score in the last round, so there was a DNF there from Luke 42 unfortunately. In 8th place on our grid currently we have Dyson, or J46 Dyson as you may know him. J46 Dyson is currently 5th on our leaderboard with a 23 points, so firmly in 5th position on his own, and just behind him sits Dirk Diggler. Dirk Diggler is currently in 10th place, and just in front of him we have Immortalis. So Immortalis now sporting the blue and white livery for the CLK. So Immortalis, I know that previous seasons he's preferred the Toyota. Looks like this season we're going to have a change of heart and he's going to go with the Mercedes CLK. As we just mentioned, Dirk Diggler then in 10th place. Dirk Diggler currently 6th in our championship with 20 points, just in front of T. Scott, who's not with us this evening. Then we have Tibby in the classic D2 silver Mercedes, very well recognised livery, that one. Tibby currently in 11th place. Tibby joined us a little bit late this evening, so he might have been struggled to get a hot lap, a clean lap in qualifying, so may well be struggling to get himself up the order. I did expect better from Tibby this evening, from his previous lap times. Round Sugo, currently sat in 10th place. In 11th place we have Stoltz, again Stoltz in the white and blue Toad livery in the panels, with a 143, and Stoltz not currently set any points on our championship standing board. Survivor is a cameo driver, Survivor in a green Pirelli livery for the Porsche, so he's trying his hand at the Porsche. We know that can be a little bit spinny, that Porsche, from Luke driving that last season. Let's see how Survivor gets that done. Alright Turkish is currently in 10th place on our leaderboard and 13th place on our grid today. Alright Turkish in the silver and red CLK livery. Again, quite a few CLKs out on our grid today. Old Smoky coming in, possibly the only one that we've got out on our grid today, and the only one in the championship, I believe, in the red Ferrari, in the classic red Ferrari livery. And that folds up our grid for this evening. So I think we maybe have lost one or two drivers in that, and that looks like a mistake there from Old Smoky as he goes very sideways. And full lock up there, so that will not be a hot lap. So it looks like Linga Bazinga is finished with 48 seconds left in our qualifying session now. But Jack Demenz is still to go around track, still to set a finish this lap and set a new fastest hot lap, hopefully. And not this time, so Jack's sticking with a 1:36.819. There is time to go around again. But it does look like DJ and Murphy have both moved up, so potentially is that Bruce Law that we've lost? I think potentially it could well be. So that will be extremely upsetting for Bruce, currently second in our championship. I don't think we're going to be able to scoop him up and get him back in the lobby before we rotate over into the race, with just 5 seconds now left on our timing board. So that will give rise to Murphy and Snarling Bongo. All the guys underneath there jumping up the order one position, and Murphy is just coming up to what looks like the bus stop section here. Very quick section this, managing to keep that front left tyre just about in contact with the tarmac there without it getting into slip. Quite quick through that chicane there, so Murphy will be looking to improve on this lap time here. 1:37.9 is the time he's looking to beat, and he looks like he's coming round that bank corner with full verve. The 29 number Toyota livery, you can tell that one by the black visor that comes across. 1:37.6, so Murphy does improve, but not enough to change the position. We do still have drivers out on track. Dyson still yet to come in again, coming into the bus stop section. And Dyson loses that, so that will not be a better lap set there by Dyson. But Immortalis now just looking like he's coming over the timing line. And he does take a position, so he does snatch that position off Dyson. That's up to 7th for Immortalis. And Survivor and Alright Turkish are our only guys left out on grid at the moment. It does look like Survivor, potentially it could still be on a hot lap here. And again, coming through the final section past the Sunoco sign into the pit straight. And Survivor does not make an improvement. So a rundown of our order. That's Linga Bazinga, who firmly secures first place with some time to spare. In second place we've got Jack Demenzes with half a second behind him. In third spot is our reserve driver DJ Leggy. In fourth spot, with the third Toyota in a row, is Murphy. In fifth spot is Snarling Bongo in the Mercedes CLK, followed by Luke Snipes and Immortalis, again in the CLK. Eighth place we see Dyson and Dirk Diggler, again both in the CLKs. Sorry, apologies, Dirk Diggler is in a Panos. Tibev in 10th place, Survivor in 11th, Stoltz 12th, Alright Turkish in 13th, Old Smoking 14th, and that rounds out our grid for today. So as we flip over into our next session, I shall break for just a moment. I'll be right back with you. Hi, welcome back to Flux Motorsport. You're back with Lecky_2000, and we are just about to get underway for our race session here at Daytona Road Course. And what do you know, the heavens have opened. So currently it is light rain, and although you might be able to see some booms and wallops in the background, I assure you that it's not thunder and lightning. It is just bonfire night here in the UK. So our guys are just getting ready to get underway. Linga Bazinga currently heading up the front of our grid in the Mercedes CLK, which surprises me. What doesn't surprise me is we have second, third and fourth all Toyotas. So Toyota's definitely showing that they've got some legs here at this track. So Linga Bazinga again currently leading our championship, but I think the pressure has just been taken off him by a unfortunate disconnection, I feel, from Bruce Law, which is going to severely impact his ability and his chances to stick with Linga Bazinga here, considering his pace. So I wonder whether this will just be a opportunity for Linga to get his pedal to the metal and run away with this one. So 30 seconds left or so before we get ourselves underway here. And just give you a good look of our grid. So one or two gaps there, as you see at the back of the grid. So if you're just joining us, like I said, it's our GT1 race on Thursday night, 8 PM as per usual. If you want to know more about us, please go to FluxMotorsport.com and click the driver sign up button, or go to events to check out our events calendar. So we're just as these guys get their setups underway and the final tweaks and adjustments to the brakes and tyres, the wet tyres. So there's a rolling start here at Daytona, as is per the usual. It's always a rolling start at the Daytona circuit, and as they come up to the line, the light will go down, and I believe they're underway. So they are under starters orders, and it's all changed towards the centre of the grid. So that's Tibby getting a great start here, and just trying to get up through the order. Immortalis also getting a good start, and DJ up to third position. So DJ and Murphy fighting hard, third and fourth, switching position. And that is Murphy round. So unfortunately we didn't see that, but that is definitely two Toyotas that came together there. And Murphy is just there and waiting for Jack, but there's further contact there in front there. That looks like Dyson involved. It looks like potentially Luke involved as well, and potentially Dirt Diggler there. So quite a lot of cars involved in the first couple of corners there. Just nip over to our leaders. That's that Linga Bazinga nip out into first place, Tibby through into second, and Immortalis into third. So these guys both getting a great start here off the wet line at Daytona. Tibby and Immortalis right up with each other now. Linga Bazinga, as expected, already starting to make inroads on the other drivers, and potentially already considering who he's going to lap first. We're just coming onto the oval section through Daytona, and we've got Immortalis trying to make a move down the inside. Is a little bit more grip on the outside of the track here at Daytona, on the outside line, but you have less distance to cover on the inside line, and Immortalis making that work. Quick flash there, and straight away out of the dirty air to try and get both cars to be able to get full contact with the aero. Great racing here from these guys. Just coming behind is DJ Leggy with Survivor and Stoltz just behind those. So DJ Leggy in the number 28 Toyota. You can tell that one by the white stripe livery across the top of the windshield. DJ Leggy got a good start, but does look like he's picked up a little bit of contact here. As you can see, the wipers going furiously there on that Toyota, and he's certainly not on his own. He's got Survivor that's right up behind him, and it looks like we've got a problem there. He's coming into the pits. That is DJ Leggy into the pits. That will let Survivor straight through, and Stoltz is making a move now down on the outside. So as they come into turn one, hard on the brakes, trying to not lock the back of the car up. Stoltz looking around the outside, not making it work this time. Survivor just making the car big, making that inside, so that middle line work, trying to avoid the puddles. And Survivor's unfortunately gone off, and Stoltz has followed, and that has allowed Murphy to come back through. And will Murphy grab that? He has. He's grabbed one from Stoltz, and Murphy himself struggling there. So a lack of grip on that corner, I think there. A lot of power that the guys are trying to get down here through these wet conditions. So I expect to see unless they start taking a little bit more care in these conditions, we will see more and more spinning up and rotation as the tyres get more and more degraded through the course of this race. So I'll just give you a quick rundown of the order. It's a crazy first few minutes of this race here at Daytona, but Linga Bazinga currently far and wide in the lead on lap 2 with a 5-second almost gap to Tibby in second place. So Tibby coming all the way back there from the middle of the pack, managed to get up to 3 to second place. Great lap there from Tibby on that first lap, followed closely by Immortalis. We've just seen him put that manoeuvre through there. But it looks like he's had to give that back now, so potentially Tibby just getting the better of Immortalis in that last corner. Immortalis doing well here, still in third place and not too far behind second, so it's still within reaching distance for him here. Savari coming through. Savari's got a cameo drive today and determined to do well during this race after some previous banter in the drivers' chat room before the race, considering his prowess in the wet. So Survivor currently in 4th place, currently proving his critics wrong. Let's see if he can keep that up. And Murphy coming into the pits here, so that's Murphy, pit, and it looks like we've got Alright Turkish in the pits as well. That looks like Alright Turkish that potentially has made a pit stop there and just been released. And just as we switch over to Dyson and Dirt Diggler, which are the cars behind Murphy and Survivor on track, we see what looks like Dirt Diggler going round there. Don't think there was contact, potentially that was just due to the wet conditions, but the back of that panel's always going to prove difficult here in the wet conditions with no traction control. Dyson managing to get through that particular instance quite cleanly, but I think he was involved in a bit of a incident on turn 1, as you can see a little bit of damage there to the front of that Mercedes, and some paintwork missing from the side of that car. Just coming into this tight left-hander, and you can see the front end of that car there sliding on both of the Mercedes there. So the Mercedes looks like it's struggling with the front end grip here, potentially chassis related rather than setup related if two different drivers are having that same problem. And Old Smokey and Stoltz are also coming to the pits here. Old Smokey looks like he's just got away first, but that has dropped him back down to 11th place now. Stoltz still being kept in the pits, quite sufficient more damage from the panels there, but he's now released, so not too bad of a pit stop time. And it looks like we've got some more action on track here. It does indeed. Tibby looks like he's made a mistake there into turn 1. Immortalis managing to nip through. So second and third place changing position here. Old Smokey joins in from the pit lane behind. 40 minutes to go left in our session here, so quite a way to go yet. Now, from looking at our weather forecast a little bit earlier on in this race, I do understand it's not going to be rain throughout, or potentially it could change around about the midway point during this race. But from looking at the current conditions and clouds, it doesn't look like we're going to get any let up anytime soon. And Dirt Diggler now coming into the pits, so Dirt Diggler coming again potentially to get some damage. No tyres here, no fuel by the looks of it, just the damage repair. So potentially some structural or suspension damage there for Dirt Diggler. So let's take a little look on board with Jack now. Jack de Menezes qualifying all the way up there in second, but struggling now all the way down in 7th place after that contact with what I think was Murphy coming into the first corner, as Murphy over rotated, and I think several cars struggled to get out of the way then. So Jack de Menezes just coming up to the back of DJ Leggy now. Both of these cars rocking a little bit of damage. And Jack looks like he's potentially just putting the faster lap times in with the 1:46.5s, so almost a second faster here. As we can see the shimmer there off the red and white livery of the Toyota, just extending out in front of that car, giving you a weird shimmer off the track there. But heaps of spray from that Toyota, which is essentially a wing. Again, I will say this again, I say this most weeks and we'll come to these GT1s, but really difficult to drive these Toyotas with no adjustable front aerodynamics on it. particularly on a track that is so important to get your aero set up just right, just correct. But Jack here just managing to stick with DJ Leggy, but not making the move on him at this stage as they come through the final turn and onto the over the timing line. So I think Jack will try and make this manoeuvre potentially through this section now, not round this corner, as it's he nudges him, so that's a nudge from Jack, and it does look like he's returning the position there, so nice to see from these two drivers. I'm good at it being observed here. So a battle for 6th place here between these Toyotas, and it's toe-to-toe again, so it looks like that's Jack going through there as DJ obviously realised that Jack is a little bit quicker, and he's not liking the pressure of Jack being in his mirrors. So Jack through up to 6th place. I think potentially we'll see him make inroads further there on Dyson, looking at the lap times, which I'll just try and nip over to you now. So 146s to 150s, a whole range of lap times. There are lots of different numbers on that board. I'm not going to bore you too much with the timing boards, but Jack certainly will be looking to catch up to the black and luminous green livery of Dyson here in that CLK, the Gerstenfeld livery I believe it's called. Excuse me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Just through to the bus stop section here. So again, difficult section here in the wet, and puddles starting to form there on the second apex just as you come out of that chicane section, and you can see even through the vents here the water's starting to pool through the vents, so the guys will really starting to be noticing the pooling water now. So have a look on board with our leader, with Linga Bazinga. Again, Linga Bazinga coming into this off a previous win. I think it was the fastest lap in the previous race as well, so that was the double in race 1. Let's see whether he can do it again here for the double. Already got the pole position under his belt from qualifying, and a 13-second gap here does bode well for him as Linga Bazinga comes into the bus stop section now. And we'll just try and show you this as Linga Bazinga comes in here, just pulling there on the second apex. As you can see, Linga taking a wide berth there around that second apex. So already starting to pool on track and affect our drivers. This is going to be quite difficult for the guys now. And it looks like DJ Leggy's come into the pits. So DJ Leggy in the pits there. Looks like that damage related. So, and they are keeping him in the traps there for quite a while. So we'll come back to him. Back over to 3rd place now. So this is Tibby and Immortalis. Now Immortalis is the guy that's just in front, who I believe is just past Dirt Diggler. That's the black panels of Dirt Diggler there, I believe. So Immortalis managing to get round Dirt Diggler without too many issues. Let's see whether Tibby can do the same. The Gagler car's coming up behind. I think that is potentially the red and white livery of Jack de Menzies there, as Immortalis just gets the back of the car right there. That's going to really affect his traction off the line, and it's starting to back up behind him. I'll just take a look on board with Dirt Diggler, and Tibby's really struggling to get through there, past Dirt Diggler at that point, but through now. And Dirt Diggler has potentially, it's Murphy, so apologies, that is the number 29 of Murphy there. So Murphy now really managing to get back into the action after that terrible spin on the on turn 1, which can only have been first corner jitters, I believe, and a little bit deep there into the turn there, I think, from DJ Leggy, which is the car behind. So the only real battle here that we've got on track is between Dirt Diggler and Murphy now. So the guys in front and the blistering speed there of that Toyota clearly making itself known as Murphy comes down the inside, and that's 2 cars in 1 manoeuvre. So I think that's Tibby that's managed to drop himself back down the order with a D2 livery there. So Tibby looks like he's struggling now. He's certainly dropped back from Immortalis just a touch. And Murphy's starting to make inroads. So Jack and Murphy, after they're coming together, I think they're now both of the guys independently started to make their way up the order. So over to Survivor, who's currently sat in 4th place. A little bit of a lonely drive here for Survivor at the moment. Not too many cars in front. He's got a great big gap in front of Tibby. And Immortalis, who looks like they're changing positions, battling again, and they are going into turn 1. So Immortalis and Tibby battling again. Immortalis coming the worse off this time, so potentially tyre related. And those wet tyres now starting to struggle. We've only had 15 minutes of this 45-minute session gone here. The tyres could already start to be being affected. Potentially looking from the telemetry screens, looks like the tyres are going off. Looks like they're going cold. So a pit stop might be required here just to put some nice warm tyres on there and get some grip back on the track. Depending what the weather does, they may want to start considering that. So it does look like it's potentially still raining here, and looks like it's going to remain raining throughout. But it is changeable on the weather forecast, so we will keep an eye on that. And just down to the battle for what looks like 5th place. So looks like Jack has just managed to make his way past Dyson. Dyson there sticking with Jack, trying to make the best use of his slipstream possible. So as expected, Jack there making further inroads. But the battle for 2nd place is the one that we keep going back to. So this is again Immortalis, who is just a second or so behind Tibby. Currently has Dirt Diggler sandwiched in between them both. So yeah, just coming into turn 1, Dirt Diggler there just on the outside, just trying to come out the way for Immortalis as Immortalis catches to the back of the car. So albeit it looks like he's in between both the cars and potentially causing an issue under these sorts of conditions. You can only brake so late, I believe. As we see Tibby going wide though, so that might be track limits. Let's take a look down. The race director doesn't look like she's giving track limits there, so Tibby getting away with that. Old Smokey does look like he's picked up a couple of track limits though, so we will have to take a look at the penalties just after the race, just to see whether that affects the overall timings. But a few battles out on track here, so looks like we've got a battle for 2nd place and a battle for 4th as the guys flying into this tight left-hander here, hard on the brakes, trying to keep that car coming down all the way down to potentially 1st gear in some of these cars, and 2nd for most, and then trying to remain in the slipstream but yet on the dry line. So as you can see there, just on the outside of the track, there's a dry line that starts to form as the cars keep running through that, but coming into the bus stop you want to try and protect the inside line. And that's Dirt Diggler that we see running well wide there. I think he's just locked up coming through the bus stop there. Manages to get back in order. But it has allowed Jack to catch up as the pack's bunched up there. And Jack's managed to work his way back through and now pass through past Survivor. So Jack now coming up to the leaders here, fighting for 2nd and 3rd place. And I expect Jack with a 145 to be very quickly catching those guys in the next couple of laps. So does look like we've got a battle down here towards the back of the grid now for 9th and 10th place between Murphy and Dirt Diggler. So both these guys looking like potentially contact or a mistake from a battle out on track is caused these guys both to lose a bit of time here and drop back down the order. Dirt Diggler currently putting in a 153, so a large mistake there. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if the puddles are really starting to affect the panels with its lock of traction control. So panels drivers are going to have to take it a little bit easier, I think, than some of our more fortunate drivers that have got the ability of traction controller and ABS. So back over to our battle for 3rd place. Immortalis still here in 3rd place, sitting behind in that gap, not making the move on Tibby at this stage. but we can see Jack closing right in the back there. So just take a look at DJ Ledger now. Again, cameo drive from DJ Ledger, but I fully suspect that he's going to be chomping at the bit to try and get into this this championship after his cameo drive here this week. Toyota's currently in 4th, 8th and 9th, qualifying 2nd, 3rd and 4th on the grid, so does look like it's a car that's good for qualifying, but maybe not so much in race conditions, particularly in the wet conditions. The Toyota looking like it's struggling, and the CLK looking like it's a little bit more of a balanced vehicle. And Immortalis on turn 2, they're just going a little bit yet, and that's grass tracking it. Manages to keep hold of it though, but that has allowed Tibby to then to pull away a little bit, and will allow Jack to close that gap up even further. So just to clarify, the car behind isn't Jack, Dementez. There is a 40-second gap between Immortalis and Jack Dementez, which again I do expect to close. I believe that is Murphy and Dirk Diggler that is just currently behind this group. So Murphy and Dirk Diggler sticking with these guys, so managing to maintain race pace here. So I don't know, these guys from the previous GT1 outings are quick and capable in these cars. Certainly capable enough to stick with this pack here. So Tibby just in front on track, look like he's starting to catch another back marker now as we're going through the bus stop. Tibby currently setting 147, so slightly slower lap than Immortalis, and Jack are currently putting in the 146, mid 146 region. So Tibby with the benefit of a bit of distance in front of himself to be able to defend that position. But a small mistake there coming into turn 1. That's going to allow the guys to catch back up again. It's let the Toyota through, and it's letting Immortalis catch all the way back up, and these guys going toe to toe. So this is 4th position here, and this time managing to keep the car under decent amount of rotation, managing to keep the power down, the traction down. These guys side by side through that tight left-hander, and hard on the brakes now into again what is potentially gear 2, gear 1 situation. Better to be on the inside than the outside on that corner, but it does bring you into this awful puddle section here and create for lock-up as you come up onto the banking section, onto the left-hander there. Tibby looking like he's managing to make it stick though. So again, swapping of the order here, and then swapping back again from Tibby and Immortalis. Tibby remaining 2nd and Immortalis in 3rd place after 7 done. Halfway gone, roughly through our race at this point. So, and it does look like the rain is starting to let up a little bit here, but certainly doesn't look like it's stopped altogether just yet, and there is certainly standing water still on track. So just trying to take a look at some of our guys towards the back of our grid at the moment. Alright, Turkish currently setting reasonable lap times of the 148, certainly mid-pack lap times there, but unfortunately due to heavy damage I think on lap 1, he's running his own race at the back at the moment. His closest rival is Stoltz in the battered front of that white panos there. Looks like he's really suffered from damage as well during this race. Dirk Diggler was battling with Murphy. Looks like he's dropped back a little bit from that now as we're on lap 12 and lap 13 for some of these guys. And is that a car that we've got stopped on track? I think that may have been Luke that stopped on track. So unfortunately it looks like Luke may have gone round there. I see this with his lap times when he comes through across the timing line. Just keep an eye on Luke here. Not brought much to you about Luke today. So Luke currently 7th place, in today's race, but not set any points in our standings so far, because he didn't manage to finish the race in the last race. So we'll be looking to get some points on the board here, and 7th place is a decent amount of points. As he hits the bus stop, first part of the bus stop section, really aggressively, has to back off a little bit there to the second part of the bus stop, and that is allowing DJ Leggy to catch up with him. DJ Leggy, you've seen him before at FluxMotorsport, normally accompanied by his old fella. He was also an avid racer, but as a cameo drive here, just getting a little bit of practice in for the GT1s whilst his old man snoozes. So DJ Leggy making a move on the outside, look, not making that too difficult for him, as you can see the obvious speed the Toyota's got on the straight. It will be pushing now hard into this first section, trying to pull that Toyota back in much better through acceleration on the exit of the corner. Initially they're just trying to get that traction down, but then as soon as you get an open track in front of it, as you can see, the Toyota just starts to leap away. So lap 14 for Linga Bazinga, currently setting the fastest laps of our race with 1:43.053, closely followed by DJ Leggy with a 1:43.069, so a very capable lap there from DJ Leggy on that last lap. Looks like he's managed to get it together as Dyson comes into the pit now, 6th place into the pit, so I believe this will be a tactical pit stop for Dyson. Doesn't look like he's picked up too much damage there, so let's see if he goes for tyres. And I believe he is going for tyres. Difficult to see at this stage. You don't always get the right cutscene from the pit crew here for some reason on Project Cars 2, but he has been kept in for a while, so that does look like potentially he's getting tyres and a splash of fuel. Should be around about 9 seconds if there's no damage, but it does look like he's being kept in there for a little bit longer than he would possibly have liked there. So we'll come back to Dyson on that pit release as Murphy now comes back up to, and is that complete front end of Murphy's car? It is. So Murphy had a bit of an accident there potentially, and he's missing the front end of that Toyota. That's surely going to be affecting the aerial, but the Toyota not seeming to mind. There's a not a massive difference in the amount of horsepower between these cars, but how the Toyota puts that horsepower down seems to be head and shoulders above the rest of the cars in GT1 when it comes to top end speed. Problem with that is though, it's very skittish. It's like driving a skateboard. So, and Murphy looks like he's certainly suffered from that skittish behaviour in this race. So Murphy currently in 8th place. Currently Dirk Diggler in 9th. And these two not necessarily battling for points within the championship. Dirk Diggler currently on 20 points and Murphy on 13 in the championship. So Murphy will be looking to try and get his nose in front of Dirk if he can here. Try and steal a few points off. And is that Luke that we see going round? I think that is Luke that we see going round. Apologies, it's not. I believe it's Immortalis that we've seen going round. So it's the other blue and white livery of the Mercedes CLK that we've got here. So Immortalis there dropping time, and that certainly will give rise to Jack de Menzies putting his foot down. And let's just try and take a quick look and see how close behind Immortalis Jack actually is. So not too far at all now really. 5 seconds or so, which potentially could close that up, so I do expect them to be fighting toe to toe here. But I also do expect some of the guys to potentially be starting to make some pit stops now, as we can still see a few splashes of water there coming out on track, but it does look like by and large the track's starting to dry up now. We've just seen another change out on the grid there between DJ Leggy and Luke Starks, and DJ Leggy definitely looking like he's picked up some of the damage there now. So that could have been a potential incident into turn 1 and losing the rear end by the looks of things. Looks like he's collected the wall on the inside there. So another unfortunate incident there for DJ Leggy. All happening in the GT1s today. So just whilst we don't have any battles out on track, let me give you some more information about Flux Motorsport. So if you're just joining us, you currently got us midway through our GT1 race. It's been an absolutely great start to the race. Some guys making some wonderful manoeuvres through the middle of the pack, and a bit of an incident into turn 1 has really seen the order shuffle about here, and call for some pit stops where potentially we may not have seen some previously. But if you are looking to get involved in Flux Motorsport, please go over to fluxmotorsport.com, check out our services and sign up to our Discord server where you can get involved in all the action with the button at the top right on the website. If it's just the races that you want to watch, then go over to our YouTube channel, or you can follow us on our Instagram or Facebook, and that's just Flux Motorsport. If you do a search for that, then you'll certainly find us with the grey and orange and white logo. So just taking a look here, that looks like it's Jack now in 3rd place. That's coming past Immortalis for 4th. Immortalis not making him work for it too much there, but Jack certainly will be pushing her to try and catch up with Tibby. There's a bit of a gap between him and Tibby, which potentially might not be possible during this race, but it certainly looks like he could get a podium here. There's some great driving from Jack today. DJ Ledge, you know, looks like he's trying to take that position back off Luke Snipes to push him back up into 6th place. He's rocking a bit of damage there, and that has affected his lap times. You can see 153 from his last lap there, DJ Ledge, compared to the 145 of Luke Snipes. But I think potentially on this lap we might see DJ Ledge's laps come back down into the 140 region. But Immortalis there again, similar with the 152, so it does look like it's 7 seconds or so it's costing per spin for these guys at Daytona, which is a good chunk of time. And Murphy and Dirty Diggle are now into the pits, so both these guys into the pits, and both doing quick stops, both released, so that doesn't look like damage repair really. I think that's just a tactical change and back out again. That does allow Stoltz to come up into 9th place. It also looks like he's rocking a little bit of damage on that panels. And again, we've seen him get involved in a couple of incidents today. Have to go to the stewards to get the lowdown on how the outcomes of those inquiries were, and we'll bring that to you next week. So Dirk Diggler now coming out the pits and starting to rein in the back markers, so just behind Alright Turkish now. Get Alright Turkish, move yourself up to 10th spot as Murphy and Dirk Diggler have come into the pits. I do expect that Dirk Diggler is going to try and push his way past a little bit quicker than the CRK in front with the that black panels there, but Turkish not going to make this easy. This is 4th position, so he's in no obligation to move aside. He's certainly not on the blue flag conditions. And Murphy dropping back a little bit there, so probably thinking better of it, letting these guys go toe to toe just whilst he gets the tyres warmed up. Potentially dry tyres now for these guys, so this is going to change the balance of the vehicle and how the cars go into the braking section, and certainly it's going to change the amount of forces and lateral G's they can take through those tyres in the corners. So Dirty Diggler still looking around Turkish managing to get out of the way of the front of the panels there, trying to steal that draft away from it. Turkish thinking about switching to the outside line and then better of it and sticking with the inside line, trying to force Dirty Diggler around the outside, still leaving plenty of room there, but going into turn 1 Dirty Diggler's just made a tiny bit of contact with him there. Not a massive amount of contact, just a bit of a racing nudge there, and backs off and thinks better of it. But I can very much see Murphy closing up to the back of these two very shortly, as Turkish thinks better of it and lets Dirty Diggler come side by side, but he's kept his foot in at this point. He's kept the inside line, which is a better line to have through that corner. And again, a minor bit of contact there from Dirty Diggler. So slight differences in braking just allowing for a little bit of contact there, but not enough to make the car spin, and that certainly was. So unfortunately, contact there from Dirty Diggler and Alright Turkish. I think that is potentially going to go to the stewards. Dirty Diggler probably frustrated though, he couldn't get round, and with Murphy catching up behind him, I can completely understand why. But contact though will have to go to the stewards. So that's Murphy and Dirty Diggler now through in 11th and 10th place respectively. 10 minutes to go in our session here. Just coming through onto lap 20 with Linga Bazinga. Currently putting our 141, which is I believe our session best so far, as the track started to dry up here. We may see those lap times come down a little bit further still. In second place we have Tibby. Tibby currently with a 145 in that silver livery. Tibby in our championship is currently in 4th place with 25 points, so this will see him potentially move up a spot or two with the unfortunate early disconnection from Bruce Law and the current track position of Jack de Menzies behind him. This could see Tibby catapult up 1, maybe 2 spots within our championship standings. So a great drive from Tibby here today if he can keep this for the next 10 minutes or so. On third, as we've just mentioned, Jack de Menzies is currently in 3rd place in our championship standings and 3rd in our race. But after qualifying 2nd and after a terrible accident in turn 1, so albeit it might sound no change for Jack, it's definitely been all sorts of change during this race. 4th spot Immortalis. Immortalis having a great start to this race, great manoeuvre up the inside, managing to get straight through the middle of the pack there, scores through, went toe to toe with Tibby, managed to get away from the incident in turn 1, these guys, and managed to skip through, but then losing out to, well, to be honest, I'm losing out to the puddles by the looks of it into turn 2 after the chicane, or turn 3 I suppose it is after the chicane, at this corner here in fact. So always very difficult this corner in the wet. Seems like it's a really flat corner, but the camber changes between flat and adverse and slightly positive, slightly negative throughout that corner, so it's very difficult to try and get the angle right. Apologies, try and get rid of this message. In 5th spot we have Survivor. Survivor had a pretty uneventful race here, managed to keep his own clean in 4th and 5th spot. Jack de Menzies just upsetting that on his way through, but other than that, maintained track position and had a fairly clean race here today. Survivor, a good race from him. Currently, like I said, in 5th spot. DJ Ledger in 6th spot. DJ Ledger's had a bit of a roller coaster of a race here. Some great lap times, as you've seen. 142 is currently being set at the moment, and usually followed by a bit of an incident with the wall by the looks of it. Again, the wet weather really causing these guys some problems, but the changeable conditions also can cause a bit of upset as you try to get the feel of the car during the conditions changing, which is not optimal for how you would have the car set up once the conditions are dry. So DJ struggled a little bit here today, currently in 6th spot. Potentially there is enough to time in to catch Survivor in front. However, I think it's going to be a big ask for him to try and pull off a 5th spot at the end here. So currently in 7th place is Luke Snipes. Luke currently sat in 7th place again. A little bit of a lonely race here for Luke. May have seen 1 or 2 drivers just make their way through and had a bit of a battle with DJ Ledger a little earlier. But other than that, a pretty solid mid-pack drive here for Luke today. In 8th place is Dyson. Dyson again had a bit of a similar race to DJ Ledger, I feel. Bit of a roller coaster on this one as he loses it coming into the bus stop. So potentially the brakes look like they've just overheated there, because there seems to be nothing as he pressed the brake pedal and turned that car in then. So potentially that might be a braking problem that he started to develop there, coming into the last 7 minutes of this Daytona race here. In 9th place we have Stoltz. Stoltz had a difficult race here, I must admit, today. 150 is currently on his lap times, and that's probably indicative of his drive today. again, a new driver in our championship, probably just getting to grips with our drivers and the car and his new setup and his new team. So I expect to see once he's bedded in, maybe he start to get a bit better on the lap times, a little bit better on our standings. But great to see a new driver in with us this week. So welcome Stoltz. Murphy currently in 10th place. Murph's had a torrid time today. I think this is it's just one of those races that you would want to forget. Potentially the turn 1 incident, which he was involved in with Jack, and then from there it's just been hard fought ever since. Murph currently in 10th place. That will affect his standings. Murph currently in 9th place, in 8th place on the leaderboard. So he's going to potentially fall down into 9th place after that, but not to Snarling Bongo this time. I think Snarling Bongo, unfortunately, is the other driver that we've had disconnected today. So in 11th place again we've got Dirk Diggler. I don't expect the battle between these two drivers are done just yet. So Dirk Diggler not putting quite as quick a lap times in as Murphy on the previous lap, but as we've seen with these guys, very changeable. They keep going toe to toe, don't want to leave each other alone. And Alright Turkish currently in 12th place. Turkish possibly having the worst luck of all the drivers here at the moment, involved in the incident in turn 1, excuse me, and certainly involved in an incident there with Dirk Diggler as they came through onto the bank section where the oval is, which I'm sure will be getting reviewed later. So I think it's just gone from bad to unlucky for Turkish in this race. So 5 minutes left to go in our session. So just as we start to round up the GT1 session here today, please don't forget to tune in to us later on this week. We have our LMP2 race, which comes to you on 8 o'clock on a Saturday, and we have a live broadcast race which is live on YouTube on Sunday at 8 PM for GT3s, so be sure to tune into the GT3s and catch that action. A lot of our drivers currently on grid in that GT3 race. I won't spoil the standings for you, but you can surely find out more information at FluxMotorsport.com. So previously that comes back off the back of our Tuesday night touring car event at 8 PM, and again a couple of drivers in that one. I myself am in the Tuesday night touring cars, but unfortunately did not feature last week, and I believe the touring cars again are at Daytona, so a heavy feature of Daytona I think over the next couple of weeks here at Flux Motorsport. So just on board with Linga Bazinga here, currently lap 24 with 4 minutes left in session. So potentially another 3 laps here. We're talking 27, 28 laps I believe, before the checker flag drops. And it looks like Linga Bazinga is a country mile in front with a 45-second gap to second place. Another outstanding drive from Linga Bazinga in the GT1s. I think this category is just potentially made for Linga, so really great to see that 29 number CLK there at the front of our pack again. Another great drive from Tibby. So he struggled with Immortalis, with trying to fend off the oncoming advances there for Immortalis, but as things came to a close, as the battle drew to an end, I think Tibby just steps in front of that one, just edged his nose in front. Another good drive today has come from Jack. So Jack coming from all the way towards the back of our pack, all the way downtown, managed to get himself back up to third and then maintain third. So great drive there from Jack. Again, it helped a little bit by the legs on the Toyota, but don't take anything away from the calibre of this driver. It is not easy to work your way through a grid such as this. And in 4th spot we've got Immortalis. So just as we mentioned, going toe to toe with 2nd place, it would be an upset not to have got a podium out of this. Potentially just a couple of mistakes there in the wet that have cost him might have actually made the difference in this race. So unfortunate to see Immortalis not do better in this race after such a good drive. Another good drive for today has been Survivor. He's kept his nose clean again, but I think that is DJ Leggy that we're seeing there. So DJ Leggy putting 2 or 3 seconds a lap quicker and has eventually pulled that lap time, you might see a little bit of a battle here as it comes into, for these guys, what might be the last time over the finish line under full race conditions. Our Survivor goes a bit wide there, so putting a little toe on the grass there, that's going to take a little bit of speed off, potentially make it a little bit squirrely into the next corner as he's put a bit of mud on those tyres. And he does miss the apex there, and potentially that is really going to cost him. So that has let Leggy through, but to be fair, he is having a cameo drive and possibly doesn't want to upset the championship standings, so potentially just got to get a good etiquette there from Survivor. Luke still in 7th place. Again, standard drive from Luke. 145's been setting 145s consistently all day, so I think that's one thing we can say about Luke's drive today. It's been super consistent for the most part, so which is a great thing to see after some of the inconsistencies that we saw from his GT1 season last season. So great improvements we made there. And it does look like DJ Leggy's catching right up onto the back of Survivor again here now, so this could switch position again here now. As they come across the line for the final time. And they are still under race condition. So whilst the time is still counts down, and Linga Bazinga will look to potentially come around the final corner here for the last time now. I believe that Survivor and DJ Leggy currently going toe to toe. As Linga Bazinga was in the first part of the oval section as he comes through the bus stop for the last time there. We just take a quick look on board with Survivor and DJ Leggy. I think DJ Leggy has just managed to get his nose in front now, but it doesn't like he's gone off there, so Survivor just coming through on the inside there, and DJ Leggy almost with a dangerous rejoin there. Back over to Linga as Linga comes through our last section now and comes across the finish line for the checkered flag. Great win there from Linga Bazinga, an outstanding drive again. But we'll just nip back over to Survivor and DJ Leggy that are currently going toe to toe here, not too far behind Linga Bazinga. Actually on track as they come through hard into the bus stop section now. I think that potentially Leggy's going to have this with the legs that the Toyota's got if he manages to maintain, which he does through the bus stop. So Survivor's going to be gutted with that finish there. Certainly deserved to a little bit better of a finish with the consistency of his drive as well. As Survivor and DJ just come across the line there. So Jack in 3rd, Immortalis 4th, DJ Leggy and Survivor 5th and 6th. And that'll leave Luke Snipes in 7th place. Again, like I said, consistent drive from Luke today. Great to see him come across the line mid-pack without too many spins. Dyson just behind him. Unfortunately, Dyson having again a bit of a roller coaster today. We know Dyson's a decent driver, and I don't believe that the lap times really reflected his race today. So that's it for our GT1 championship, as I leave you with a little look at our final race standings there. Like I said, that is going to be a mix-up. Only a couple of 2 seconds on the penalties for one of our cameo drivers, and a 20-second penalty from Murphy. So that really is going to affect Murphy's standings there. So, but like I said, if you join us next Sunday for our GT3 race, again at 8 PM on FluxMotorsport TV, or if you want any more information, please head over to our website, check us out on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. I've been your host this evening, Lecky_2000. It's been lovely to have you, and until next time, we'll catch you again.